and somebody's getting mentioned quite a bit here. Let me read some of the feedback we've gotten. Andre Drummond is the Eric Ebron of basketball. Great potential, but when he gets in his head, he won't perform. Maybe he'll be good for another team. For another one here, there's nothing to look forward to if you're a Piston fan. Who's the young talented player to keep an eye on? Our draft position is trash. Blake is often injured.
The thing with Drummond, he obviously has talent,
yes.
Okay? And it's frustrating for everybody involved watching him just waste this talent, and you see him miss countless shots around the basket.
Yep.
Countless dunks around the basket, which is just really strange that a man that size is going to miss that many dunks. The truth is, he'd be really good for another team. Here's why.
Convinced.
Because I think if you have better players around him, and you come from a position, he has to be traded to a team that's already good, though. Because I think there's always that positive outcome. If you win more games than you lose, there's that positive outcome, and it helps you feel better about it. I think you get more focused, and you've got better players around you. I'm convinced he'd be a better player on a better team, a more consistent player on a better team.
When you talk about better players around him, I thought that would happen when Blake came in, but it didn't. And
that's one guy.
I know, but it's one guy that is considered the superstar that gets a superstar treatment, and Andre hasn't fed off that with a consistently enough. And especially, man, this is the playoffs. This is the most important game they have played in their Piston careers. Win this damn game. Make it interesting. You wanted to be in the playoffs because you think you gave yourself a chance. And then to go out and to have justifiably there, Chauncey calling out the effort is unbelievable. And the idea that he gets in his own head or others get in his head and he can't get out of a funk is frustrating. Need to move Andre and Reggie, if nothing else. That's from Andy. My two teenage boys and I were engaged for the first half. They both saw Drummond giving half-ass effort and left the room. What is up with Drummond? That's from Jeff. Drummond has been an absolute embarrassment this series, moping around, lazy closeouts. I've never booed a hometown player so hard in my life. It's clear that Drummond is not a building block for the future, but the game may have honestly passed him by. Centers have no place in the NBA, sad to say it.
Well, they have a place, but they may not have a place offensively. Defensively, they still have a place. You got to help defend. You got to rebound. You don't think a team would be able to benefit from 17 rebounds a game?
But you'd think.
But he's counted on for doing so much more than that here in Detroit, and that's another reason why if he goes to a team where there's multiple good players, you're not asking him to score 15, 20 points a game. You're asking him to do the things that he can do and should be able to do consistently well, and that's play defense and grab rebounds.
Okay. So, if you want to get in on the Pistons, 248-539-9797. And we're looking for, if you were invested, either financially, you were at the game, or you carved out your Saturday night to watch them, what would best describe your emotions watching that team on Saturday night? Meanwhile, Gator, the draft, okay? Here we go. It's draft week. And you take in all the information. You read everything that's being written. You talk to people and you listen to people and you try and figure out what a team's going to do. And of course, the impossible thing is to predict it. Like the mock draft, getting all 32 picks is like filling out an NCAA tournament bracket and getting all, 67 games correct. It just isn't going to happen very often or ever. And so I think you go into it and you got a strategy. And here's what I think the Lions strategy is. And I will challenge people to argue and tell me why I'm wrong. And I'll accept it. Like I'm waiting for and excited about a healthy debate regarding this. But at the end of the day, I think this is it. I think their number one priority is pretty clear. They want to trade down. Mm-hmm. I'm not reinventing analysis here because they've said it. And I think they mean it. They will try and make a good faith effort to trade down. And that's the good faith part of this is what, well, they're going to get a good faith offer. Or they're going to get somebody that's just trying to rook them and say, oh, yeah, we hear you want to trade down. Here's our 7th. Would you like to move down 13 spots? I mean, no. Our team's going to try and take advantage of Bob Quinn. there's a chance that they won't trade down, but the number one priority, I think, is pretty clear to trade out of 8. And I don't think we're going to get any argument on that. Perhaps we will, unless you're convinced it's all a smokescreen. And if Bob Quinn could be talking about trade down, we're open for business, and all those quotes we've played, those sound bites we played on the air, and maybe in reality he's thinking, I'm trading up and I'm taking Josh Allen. But here's where we sit. I think they're trading down. I believe him. Number 2, if they can't trade down, they want to draft T.J. Hockenson, the tight end from Iowa. The more I read, the more I see on this thing as we get closer and closer, T.J. Hockenson to the Lions at 8, I think is a pick that they want to make. Couple them with Jesse James. I think this is recreating for them the football product that was Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Now, we can talk about the rockhead and the idiot. They're not trying to recreate that.
The murderer?
Yes. They are trying to recreate. They know this regime knows what those weapons were like. And I think the message was loud and clear last year. Matt Stafford missed a tight end. They went into last year, they downgraded the tight end position, and they had the worst year of his career. I think when you had Jesse James with T.J. Hockenson, I think that is plan B. If they can't trade down, they take T.J. Hockenson. If T.J. Hockenson is gone, I think plan 3 falls in line with something you've said. I think they're going O-line. I think the writing is on the wall that they would take an O-lineman. They've evaluated those guys, and at 8, it can be justifiable. And if it's the top O-lineman they have on their board, I'm guessing that guy would be Jonah Williams, because there's belief that Jonah Williams can move inside and play guard. And you'll have the right guard position, which might be the single biggest position that absolutely needs to get addressed, unless they're ready to go with the Kenny Wiggins, Joe Dahl experiment, one of those two. I think it's Jonah Williams most likely, but I think that is scenario 3. And then under 2 and 3, heavy defensive emphasis after that. Bob Quinn has spoken on a number of occasions and talked about the depth of the draft and how you have to play the draft. And I think if you get T.J. Hockenson at 8, heavy defensive emphasis after that. If you get the offensive lineman you love at 8, heavy defensive emphasis after that. There is their OF moment. Their OF moment might be the Jonah Williams, and it might not be Jonah Williams. I'm just saying they're the lineman that they covet, or T.J. Hockenson are both gone. If they are both gone, then what the hell do they do? Well, if they're both gone, that means somebody dropped to them, right?
Yes.
Let's presume that's not Bosa. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Quinnen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're 5 deep, 2 spots left before the Lions pick. It's not Kyler Murray. Almost assuredly it's not Kyler Murray, because if he doesn't go number 1, somebody will trade up to take him. So there's 6 of the 7 spots filled. So that leaves Dwayne Haskins, Devin White, Montez Sweat. 2 of those 3 would likely be available if the offensive lineman and the offensive weapon they covet are gone.
Well, if you believe the report over the weekend that Kyler Murray is not what the Cardinals would do first overall, that does shake things up.
It does.
You would think a team would want to trade up to do it, to go for him, but you never know. You never know with that. I think your scenario about Hockenson, I'm going to disagree with that one. It's not like Aaron Hernandez had a nice long career playing alongside Rob Gronkowski in the Patriots. He played 3 years in the league. Mm-hmm. I know it feels like he played a lot longer, but he literally only played 3 seasons in the National Football League. I don't think that's any sort of blueprint on how you do things by having 2 productive tight ends. I think it worked for a very short period of time with them. I think that they have an opportunity to fill a couple of big holes here. And I think that opportunity is on the offensive line more than anywhere else. Now, it may very well be that Jonah Williams isn't there, or that Juwan Taylor isn't there. But I have a really strong feeling that they're going to go offensive line in the first round. Right
before Aaron Hernandez was arrested, he had signed a 5-year, $40 million contract. Like they had bought in completely to the idea that they were gonna roll with Gronk and Hernandez as the dual tight end threat. No, it wasn't long, but that was the plan, and they liked it enough that they were vested in both of them long term. But it never came to fruition because Hernandez killed someone.
Do you know how many games he started in 3 years? I'm surprised at it. I'm not piling on.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it wasn't many.
In 3 seasons, he only started 29 games. He only played in 38. He played 14, 14, and 10 in his 3 years at New England.
That describes their personnel for the first play of the game. I don't think it means all that much.
No, but I'm saying that's how many games. Starts are one thing. The actual games are 14, 14, and 10.
Yeah, he was dealing with some injuries, but they loved him enough that they put him. The New England Patriots gave him a 5-year, $40 million contract extension right before. Obviously, all hell broke loose in his life, but at the end of the day, that's what I think it is. And obviously, you don't agree with it. I do want to hear from others that don't, or maybe you're buying in. But I think that's the strategy going into Thursday night on Draft Week. Champ and Chump, 10:35. Get to your open line calls. It's Karsch and Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.